Hey everyone, this is Amber Key, and you're listening to a Bright Idea podcast, a show where I sit down with entrepreneurs to discuss the aha moments that launched their businesses. On this week's episode, I sat down with Shenarri Freeman, also known as Chef Greens. As a two-time James Beard Award nominee, Freeman graduated from New York City's Institute of Culinary Education, specializing in their plant-based health-supportive culinary arts program. Hailing from Richmond, Virginia, Shenari is committed to creating innovative plant-based dishes that highlight local and seasonal ingredients while pushing culinary boundaries. She's been named in many publications, including Forbes 30 Under 30, and recognized by Esquire, the New York Times, Michelin, Vogue, and many more. Previously, Shenari was the executive chef to the well-known Cadence restaurant in New York City and Ubuntu in Los Angeles. During her tenure, Cadence became a well-known New York City staple for vegans and non-vegans alike, her most notable dish being her Southern Fried Lasagna. Now, she's taking on a new venture as a private chef consultant, connecting and collaborating with hospitality entrepreneurs to help them build their brands. In this episode, Chef Shennari Freeman shares her life as a vegan chef and entrepreneur. Discover how lifestyle changes, strategic networking, and a passion for food transformed her career and her life. Before we dive in, if you love what we're doing here at a Bright Idea Podcast, help us keep going. You can subscribe to this show to get notifications when new episodes drop. If you like what you hear, share this episode with someone who needs a little inspiration. And if you would like to support our show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at a Bright Idea Podcast. Lastly, if you're a business owner or a brand looking to connect with our growing audience, we'd love to collaborate with you. You can sponsor an ad within one of our episodes or sponsor an entire episode. Just reach out to us to learn more. Now let's get into it. Here's my conversation with vegan chef Shennari Freeman. All right, so we're here with Shennari Freeman, also known as Shennari Greens Freeman. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm super excited to talk to you today. I was actually referred to you by, we have a mutual friend. Her name is Ivana. And she was like,
Yes.
you have to talk to my friend we used to work. Did y'all work together?
We, that's such a funny story. Yeah, we worked together a couple of different places, but we've been friends probably, I think we're going into like 10 years or something.
That's
It's been some
crazy.
time. Yeah.
Yes. Because did y'all go to Howard together? Because she
We
went to
did,
Howard.
but we did. She's one class under me, but I didn't know her at Howard. I met her when she like randomly came into one of my restaurant jobs. And she like came up to me. She's like, "Can you just act like you know me? Can you just give me a recommendation?" I was like,
Love
"Okay, yeah,
that.
of
I
course,
love
girl."
that.
So that's
The
how we met,
DC
yeah.
community is small. Like I didn't go to
Yeah.
Howard, but like all my people that I've met here in DC that went to Howard, like all know each other, or like this, like know each other who know each other who know each other. So I just think that's super cool. And she was raving about you and was like, you need to have her on your show. And then I did my own research and I was like, yeah, she needs to come on here.
I'm
So I
glad I
feel
made
like
the
it's gonna
cut.
be a good, yeah, it's gonna be a good conversation. So for people who don't know you, like I was doing a little bit of research
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, let me see what this girl, like some of the accolades, like you know,
Mm-hmm.
like you want to know like what's on somebody's resume. So I was googling you and I saw Forbes 40 under or 40 no Forbes 30 under 30, a two-time James Beard Award nominee, a Michelin guide placement. You've been in New York Times. You've been in several publications. Like, and actually not in like a long period of time. It kind of happened like super fast that you received all of these awards.
Yeah.
You are a chef, and you were a chef in one of the hottest restaurants in America, in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a background in culinary. But I want to know one thing that you and I were talking about before we did this interview. We were talking about like people assume the dream for a chef is to run one of the hottest restaurants. And
Yeah.
then, like, what happens when that's not really your dream anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And for you, like, you decided to build this business centered around yourself rather than someone else's brand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like so excited to talk to you about that today.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to hop into it. I feel like there's a lot to cover. We have like a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So I will
Yeah.
let you guide the way.
Yeah. Did you grow up wanting to be a chef?
Not at all. No, I actually tried to stay away from the kitchen as much as possible as a kid growing up. I would say like around middle school, I started experimenting a little bit, making like my ramen noodles with a little hot sauce and a boiled egg,
Yeah.
doing like fried hot dogs, fried bologna sandwiches, little steak and cheese sandwiches. Nothing too crazy, but I feel like that was kind of like my start into the food industry. And just as life went on and I relocated to DC during my time at Howard, I found myself working inside of a concert venue that had a food kitchen. And I went to Howard for medicine, pre-physical therapy program, but I was also always interested in music and just being a creative. So I just ended up in this concert venue, and the only job they had available was in the kitchen. So I was like, okay, as long as I'm in the house, I'll figure it out. And that was like my real first food job in the industry, and I was 18 at that point.
I'm curious though. You went to Howard. You're born
Hmm.
and raised in Richmond, Virginia. You
Yes.
said that you went to Howard originally to study physical therapy and sports medicine.
Hmm.
What was your like plan? Like at young Shennari, like what did she think she was going to be?
I've played sports all throughout my life. Softball, volleyball, basketball. So going into, I think like my junior and senior year in college, I mean, in high school, I was just like, I want to do something centered around sports, but also I want to be able to help people. So I figured physical therapy, sports medicine, I'd still get like my dosage of being in the sports world. And I knew I wanted to travel as well. So my dream going into college was I want to become a physical therapist for a professional team. I didn't care what team, what sport. I just wanted to be able to help people and then also have access to the world and be able to travel and go different places. I've never been like a 9 to 5er. Like I can't sit still. So I need like a work environment that's constantly changing, that's always like fresh and new and putting me in different environments. So that was my original goal.
Mm-hmm. What was the decision, or like take me to the moment where you were like, yeah, physical therapy isn't for me?
Oof. It was all the science classes. I don't know what I thought, but once I got into like chemistry and biology and my physics classes, my math classes were hard. They're
Yeah.
super hard. I've always been advanced in math, like even in middle school, like sixth grade, I was taking like eighth grade math, and high school, I was taking math at like a college, getting college credits, but I feel like I really kind of struggled in college with like my science and math courses. So I was like, maybe this isn't the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't finish at Howard though.
no, I didn't.
What
Mm-mm.
was the reason you left?
Mostly money, but then also my mom during the time got sick, so I took a semester off and like relocated back home. Started working here, and then once things kind of like got to a good point, I went back to DC. I went back to school for a semester, and then it just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I have a job, I'm working, but I had to start paying rent. Like I had to start putting all of my energy into being a young adult, navigating a different city. And I was like, do do I want to live a certain way or do I want to? I did want to get my degree, but I just chose not to. Yeah.
Yeah, life happens. I also
Yeah.
find, I didn't go to an HBCU and I didn't go to Howard, but I've been
Hmm.
in DC for like 8 years. And everyone that I meet from Howard, whether they graduated from Howard or they went there for like a stint of time, there's like this pride in this culture and
Hmm.
this like way of like nurturing and drive that you guys have, no matter if
Hmm.
you went there for like a semester or you went there for all 4 years. I know that you had left to go back home to take care of your family and then you came back to DC, but like being back in DC and still having proximity to Howard,
Hmm.
what was that like drive like when you were figuring it out, like what your next move was?
I would say just like even then and still now to this day, like my Howard family and friends like have just always been supportive of the journey. Like you said, like we have like a very big international community. Um, and it's always love, it's always respect, which I really enjoy. And even if you don't finish, like people will still acknowledge you as a bison in the world, especially the professional world. That's definitely got me to a lot of different mini rooms. And I don't even lead with that information. Like people know I went to Howard, obviously, but it's not like I'm not known for that. It's just like that's just something else like added to the resume, to the conversation. But I would say my drive overall, there's just something about going to an HBCU that you're kind of how can I say this? You're just given a lot of tools to go out and thrive in the real world. Just understanding what community is, understanding like work ethic, understanding how to stand up for yourself and speak for yourself, and understanding business and all of these different things. I really think that my time at Howard like really prepped me for the next stages of my life. And then everything else was just like world living and DC experiences that kind of molded me into the young adult that I became. So,
I love
yeah, I would
that.
say all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to once you moved back to DC and you were
Mhm.
working in DC's restaurant scene.
Mhm.
And I was reading that you worked in almost every role. Um,
Yeah.
and then you had, and what I was reading, which I found was so fascinating, and I know that I know a lot of people that work in the DC or who just work in the restaurant scene in general, or like venue
Mhm.
space in general. It is like it's a fast life, it's
Yeah.
a hard life. Like you're kind of I think about like clubs at night and
Mhm.
there's a bunch of people and you're like part of that atmosphere. You're drinking, you're hanging out, you're listening to like it's a fast life. You were working in these spaces and then you had sort of like this lifestyle shift. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I worked at I'm not sure if you were in DC when this place was open, but I used to work at Marvin on
Absolutely.
14th and U, so you already know.
R.I.P. Yes. Yes.
Um, And I worked there for about 4 years. I had a few different positions. I think I started off as a hostess. I think I did a little bit of serving, a bartender, and I worked in the office as an administrative assistant. I did DJ bookings. I helped with party planning there. And eventually I became like a floor manager. And I did all of that by the time I was 21. So I just had like a lot of responsibilities at a young age, and literally everybody that I was managing was older than me. So there was a certain stereotype, a certain expectation. Um, but I think just understanding my role in that position, I knew that I needed to mature a little bit. I knew I couldn't like, even though I was young, I couldn't act young. If that, I don't think I fully embraced myself as like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old in that space. It was more so, no, I need to be like a little bit more mature. In terms of the lifestyle changes, yeah, I was partying a lot, drinking a lot, out a lot, crazy sleep schedule, just doing the most. And I think that people that knew me and like loved me, they kind of took note of that. And at the time, one of our regulars, his name's Melvin. We're still really good friends to this day, and he practices a sober lifestyle, which I think is amazing. I think those are some of the strongest people out here walking on this earth.
Truly.
Yeah, truly. And he just kind of pulled me to the side one day. He was like, "Hey, what's going on? Where is this going? Get it together." And he dared me to just do like a 30-day cleanse, like no drinking, chill out with the partying, follow a vegan diet, and I did. Like I went cold turkey. during those 30 days, it just kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of different things, like a lot aggressively. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna see how long I can do this. And that turned into 8 years. Yeah,
Was it difficult in those 30 days?
definitely. Yes. Yeah, on many different levels. Trying to figure out what to eat. I was cooking at this point, but not professionally. I was just cooking for myself. So I think like trying to figure out what to eat, where to eat, what to cook. Um, my friend groups were kind of shifting a little bit as well because I wasn't drinking as much. And now in my 33rd year of life, I'm like, everything doesn't have to be centered around like drinking and partying, but like at that time, when you're 21, everyone wants to party.
Yeah.
So I had to find friends with like different interests or kind of like pour into those other friendships a little bit more. Um, Dating was a little hard as well during that time. Everything, yeah, everything kind of shifted in a very small amount of time.
It
Yeah,
almost seems like you were, by taking this approach of getting serious about your wellness, you were sort of like pruning different areas of your life. Um,
definitely, yeah,
Yeah, and you don't even think that. Well, I don't even think that when I think about like I'm going to stop drinking, like how much that actually changes my everyday life. Because you're right, like every single activity that I do in this city or in general has to do with like, oh, there's a drink involved.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think that there are too, like, you can be in spaces where you're like, oh, I'm not drinking, and you feel judged, or people don't want to
yeah,
hang out with you. And, like, I didn't
yeah,
even realize, like, how big of a component that was to just
yeah.
altering your lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, it's not something you kind of think about going into these things. But again, I think me kind of like taking a back seat to a lifestyle that I once lived and adored and just kind of being more observant in a coming from like a sober mindset, I was like, oh, there's a lot of things I didn't notice before, like within myself, within my surroundings, the environment that I was in. I started to really take note of a lot of things. I guess as people say, my third eye was opening a bit more.
For sure.
Um, but I'm grateful. I wouldn't change a thing about that process.
So when people usually go through lifestyle changes, they think about people go to the gym or people may fall into religion or like get closer to
Mm-hmm.
God. You know, what led you to food?
Mm. Um, I would say, I mean, I was already in the food industry. I've kind of always been in the food industry, and it was one of those things where I never really paid attention to what I eat, like ever. Um, Not to say I was like crazy obese or like crazy overweight or anything, but I was just one of those people. I would just like eat and go.
Yeah.
Like calories, what's that? Like I wasn't paying attention to any of that stuff. And I think with that 30-day challenge, I was like, oh, I need to like really start paying attention to everything. From like reading labels, understanding them, understanding what a calorie is, how to get rid of a calorie,
Hmm.
um, my relationship with the gym and working out. And it just seemed like that needed to be the first thing that I paid attention to. And then everything else would kind of, it was like a domino effect. It's like once I started paying attention to the food, that's going to make me pay attention to like how I move my body. And then once I pay attention to that, it's like I'm going to be paying attention to what am I putting on my body in
Yeah.
terms of like perfumes, deodorant, lotions, literally everything.
Mm.
And that overlapped into okay, like what products am I like using in my household, like cleaning products, toothpaste. I was basically unlearning everything and learning new things and replacing things and just kind of like really being open to an entire different world. It's like,
When
oh,
you,
mhm.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just kind of like, I didn't think food would bring me all the way here, but it was a really good like starting point.
Yeah, when you started looking at like the nutritional aspects
Hmm.
of food, what how was your body responding to that?
Um, well, I would be going to the bathroom like a lot. That's also something I never paid attention to.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I use the bathroom every day, but once I switched over, I was using the bathroom probably like 3 or 4 times a day, and I was like, oh, that's different. Like, my body's kind of like flushing and adapting.
Right.
Um, And then also, I started getting very serious in the gym, and my partner at the time was a former athlete, and he'd done like physical training and stuff like that. And he was also vegan, which was very helpful. He had like, I think he was 7 or 8 years ahead of me in terms of his lifestyle changes. So I guess it was a bit of a cheat code for me.
Yeah.
Like, although it was new to me, I was with somebody that made my transition like a lot easier. Um, but yeah, so I would be in the gym 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. I was dropping crazy weight. Like,
Not 3 hours a day, girl.
yeah, three. Yeah.
Doing what? Like, were you doing classes and weightlifting and cardio? Like, what? What does that look like?
I
I
was
do
working out with my
45 minutes and
man.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
you
was
go.
mean, so it'd be an hour of cardio, an hour of like weights, 30 minutes of like stretching, and then 30 minutes of like basically calisthenics. Yeah.
I need the
It was a lot.
plan. Do you still do it like that to
No,
this day? Oh my gosh.
I don't think
Wait,
I'll
do you
never.
remember it? I need the training plan. Oh my God. Wait, that's crazy. I love it
It
though.
was crazy. I love the results though.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever do that again, but at the time it was like I was ripped.
I
Yeah.
no, I love that. Well, when I think about chefs, I think about the fact that everyone has a story, like what led them
Mhm.
into cooking.
Mhm.
Um, and for you, it was sort of this lifestyle change and these
Mhm.
like nutritional benefits. Like when I now that you're like this renowned like chef and you have like all this notoriety, do you think that that gives you kind of a different perspective from other chefs that like other chefs may be drawn to food for like the
Mhm.
flavors or experimental like concoctions, but you focus on like one veganism, which is like
Mhm.
very different, um
Yeah.
and has become more popularized today, but also that nutritional factor. Like, do you think that that's
Yeah.
kind of your differentiator?
I think so. I think well, first I think like every chef is like so different. We all live like very different lifestyles. We all came up different ways and like have exposure to food. In a number of ways. So I think every chef is like super, super, super unique. And, you know, whatever they decide to put on a plate is kind of like it's just storytelling, really, at the end of the day. But in terms of my cooking, my style, I think it is super unique coming from like a vegan lens, focusing on nutrition and most importantly, just sharing knowledge of like what I've learned along the way because,
Yeah.
I do see myself, like I do know what I've been through, my journey, and I know there are certain like elements that can help and assist other people. So I I could do a lot better with storytelling. I'm gonna work on that, but I try to share as much information as possible
Yeah.
um, through my food.
I also feel like even though you've been in the game for a little bit now, you're still like just getting started in some ways. Like there's still like there's so much time to grow, especially
Yeah,
with storytelling. Do you feel that way?
I do. What am I? I'm 33 now. I've been in the industry since I was 18. A lot of it is behind the scenes, but I would say the past, I don't know, like 7 years, I've been um a bit more in the forefront, which is kind of scary for me.
Yeah.
But I think all great things in due time. So if that is where the universe wanted to place me, like so be it.
When we come back, the aha moment that led Shennari to culinary school.
I want to like get into where you kind of made this leap, where you were sort of doing pop-ups in DC, you were in the
Mm-hmm.
food scene here, and then you decided to take this and turn it into a career.
Mm-hmm.
And you decided to go to culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
What was the decision behind culinary school?
Um, a lot of different things. What was my ultimate decision? I was okay. So ultimately, I was dealing and processing with like the loss of my late partner. And before all of that happened, like we had talked about culinary school. He was like really pushing me to go. He's like, your food is great. Like you should be more serious. You should go to school and open a restaurant. I'm just like, you're just chatting. He's like, no, like you should like really look into it. So I started applying for schools, and I remember he like helped me with a couple of my applications, and then he transitioned. And after that, I actually got like an acceptance letter, and followed by that, I got like a full ride. So I was like, oh, okay. The timing of it all, me like grieving and trying to figure out what's next and trying to like lean into my career a bit more, but just like from a different angle. Because again, I've been in the industry for a while, just not as a forward facing chef. So there was a transition there as well too. And it took me a while to find a school that actually had like a vegan or plant-based focused program. So once I got accepted into the Institute of Culinary Education, and they had just newly launched their Health-Supportive Culinary Arts program, which is their vegan program pretty much. It was just timing. So I was like, okay, well, all signs lead to go. So I packed up and relocated to New York. And then my college friend, my Howard friends, I had two girlfriends moving there. They're like, we got an extra room. I said, great. School starts next week. So
It was
yeah,
fate. Yeah,
you
it was
literally,
supposed to
literally
happen.
everything just worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really sorry to hear about your late partner. And I do thank you for sharing that. When you went to culinary school and you got into what is it? The Institute of Culinary Education and their
Yes.
plant-based culinary program. What was your goal going into school?
Honestly, my goal was just to finish. Because I didn't finish my program at Howard, and I think that was like something that it didn't affect my life, but it affected me personally. Like I knew I wanted to be able to say like I have a degree and do something for myself and finish. So that was my overall goal, just to finish. And then of course, like me getting a full ride, and it was like something that me and my partner had started. So I wanted to also just like honor him with that degree. So I just wanted to finish.
Yeah, I love that. After graduating from culinary school in 2020, which it's like the pandemic,
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah. But what I found so interesting when I was doing research on your story is like you accepted what you thought was this management position at a restaurant.
Hmm.
And then almost overnight, they asked you, like, do you want to help us build this restaurant? Like,
Literally.
can you
Like
walk me
literally.
through that moment and like what does that mean to just what I was reading, what I was like jaw dropping, like you helped with the like how to engage an audience or like like customers and build a menu out of scratch. Like take me to that moment. Like what does that even mean?
Yeah, I culinary school was like a little bit on pause during 2020 just with the pandemic. So we were on break from I think February or March till September. Um and I wasn't working, and I was in a different restaurant when the pandemic had started, and then obviously like everything ended. And I think with New York, restaurants started to slowly reopen during that June or July, and they were doing like the outdoor seating, the patio seating, and like 10% capacity, all these things. So I went to a restaurant one day, one of the vegan restaurants I used to frequent, with my homegirl, and she just pitched me on the spot. I didn't ask her to do that. It was just super random. She was like, "Yeah, my homegirl's a chef. You guys should hire her." And they're like, "Okay." So I did an application, and I applied as a chef or a cook, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't have a chef position, but we have a manager position. We know you manage restaurants." I was like, "Okay." Again, it's just getting my foot in the door. I was like, "Okay, I'll just get in, and like we could figure the rest out." But I just need to get in the door. That's usually my MO.
Yeah.
I'm I'm a pretty good yapper and manifester, so if I can just like get in a room, I can make it work. So once I got the position, maybe like 2 or 3 days later, they're like, "Yeah, we have this space. Would you like to do a concept?" Of course, why not? Um, and that is when we started to build out Cadence, that's the name of the restaurant. And they pretty much just gave me a lot of creative freedom. So from painting the walls, picking like a palette for the restaurant. I remember like running around through the fashion district trying to
That's so
find
fun.
fabric for the stools, and you know, being in Soho, looking at all the stores, trying to find like plateware and glassware and silverware, and just really building that out. And I had, I believe, 8 months to do it. So I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Eventually school reopened, so I was back in school, and I was building out that menu. It was a lot of pressure. Like I would have tastings, I think like 2 or 3 times a week. I'd have to like crank out maybe like 10 to 15 dishes. And sometimes the feedback was good, sometimes it was very brutal, just part of it. But I'm glad my feelings were hurt because it kind of pushed me to be a better chef, and it pushed me to like just work harder, like I didn't want to create a menu or a restaurant where there's like filler items on the menu. I wanted everything to sell. I wanted everything to be a hit. I wanted people to really be blown away. Um, I wasn't expecting everything that came after that. I just wanted like great food. That's all I
Mm.
wanted.
It sounds
So,
like you jumped head first into this experience, and like you were still. You said that culinary school had taken a pause due to the pandemic. Most
yeah.
people, I feel like, would be like, "No, I'm not ready." Like, what made you say yes?
It's just me being myself, honestly. Like,
I love. Would you say you're a risk taker? Are you a risk taker?
definitely. I'm a risk taker. I'm an Aries, I'm a
Period.
leader. I do things for the
Fire.
plot. Yeah, I'm very fiery, very
Love
spicy.
it.
I do things for the plot. So even if I don't know how we'll end up, I'm like, it'll make a good story.
Yeah, yeah,
I kind of look at my life as literally a movie. So sometimes I just do things for the plot. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, it's either going to work or it's not, but I won't know unless I try. So I always try things.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini and I feel the same way. Like the adaptability, like,
Yep.
I mean, throw it at me, I'll figure it out. Like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. So you ended up creating this restaurant from scratch, Cadence, in New York City. Um, so Cadence is a vegan soul food restaurant. Is that what you would describe it as?
Correct.
Do
Hmm.
you think that because you're from Richmond, Virginia, which
Hmm.
for those who are listening is a southern city and it's known for its like cooking, it's known for its
Yeah.
like diverse styles. Like how much of like Richmond's influence do you think you bring to your cooking? I know you started like later on like here in DC, but
Hmm.
do you think Richmond or like your southern influence has anything to do with how you cook?
Definitely. I think it's like the base of my cooking. even like those first few menus that we put out, like I wanted to focus on like childhood favorites, a lot of like family recipes. So like that's the base of those menus, and then it would just be a matter of applying the culinary techniques that I learned in school, or like applying things from like traveling and things that I learned along the way, or dining at Michelin restaurants around New York, things of that nature. But all of that stuff was definitely home inspired. Like our signature dish was a fried lasagna,
Yeah.
which I used to eat a lot growing up, not fried, but lasagna. So I was like, how can I make this cool?
Yeah.
So instead of just like a regular lasagna, also everything's vegan, so that's already like jump scare for people. I decided to deep fry it because what's more southern than something deep fried, you know?
Yes. Is
So
it still
that was,
kind of like better for you though that it's like vegan and not like a regular cheese and meat and all the things?
I feel like all things in moderation,
Yeah.
vegan or not, it's just moderation. Like you gotta just pay attention to what you're putting into your body. Like I personally like how I eat now. I never fry anything at home, but because of that, when I go out, I might eat something fried, but I don't really eat fried food that much. It's like once a month.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
you can feel it. Like if you've like taken a break for a while and then you eat like a chicken wing, all of a sudden I'm like I have the itis and like that like
Yeah,
yeah, like woe is me.
you're winded.
Like I'm like I need to sit like and unbuckle my pants. I get that. Yeah. So once Cadence opened, it seemed like
hmm
everything happened at once. Like that's where like a lot of these accolades came from. You got 30 under 30. New York Times wanted to do stories on you. Your old culinary school was like doing interviews with you. You got a two-time James Beard Award nominations. Like you were like all over the place. What was
Yeah.
happening behind the scenes during that time that nobody saw?
Uh, a lot. Yeah, so I there were a lot. Like, where do I start with that? Well, first off, my days were very crazy. Like I'd wake up at like 8 a.m. I might have meetings with like my publicist, or if I was like doing an interview or anything, that would be from like 9 a.m. till like noon maybe, and then I'd get to work. I'd have meetings with like upper management, the company owners and things of that nature. And every day we just like talk numbers. We'd have like weekly P&L meetings, and literally every day they were like, "We're gonna close if people don't get in here." So I had like this like crazy amount of stress that I
Mm,
didn't let buckle, or I didn't. No one knew that. Like it was intense. Um, and yeah, and then not to mention like I have to go into restaurant service, and I that's where I probably had the most fun because just working with my team, we had a chef's counter, our first initiation of the restaurant, so I would get to see and talk to all the customers and like meet a lot of people. Like a lot of celebrities would come in there. Like it was super cool.
that's awesome.
And then yeah, and then after work, tired as crap. I don't know, like basement floodings if it was like raining crazy, or like train shutdowns, like just all the things. Like
All the
it
New
was a
York
lot of stress.
things.
Yeah, but I never really let it show. But there was a
Yeah.
lot of pressure.
With so much success that you were having on like the outside, like everyone's seeing you, you're like basically on top of the world. But then on the inside, behind the scenes that nobody saw, like you're like a duck almost, like trying to keep it all together. Like what was
Yeah.
that moment when you realized like this is becoming bigger than I imagined and I'm not really sure this was is my goal anymore, my dream.
Um, I honestly like I would say the shift happened. We opened March 2021. I think the shift happened that August when we got our New York Times review from Pete Wells, and he gave us like a raving review. I still have the article. It was crazy, like crazy. And this is also during the time that 11 Madison Park, which is like they've been on the top three, they've been like in the top three restaurants of the world for like the past God knows how many years, and they're Michelin focused, but they had recently transitioned to an all vegan menu and restaurant as well. So
So
I
they were
wouldn't
like competition in a way, or
I wouldn't say that. Like I don't I mean, I'm not downplaying myself, but we just have like different goals and different missions and different styles of restaurants. Like
yeah.
I wasn't doing a tasting menu and like we're just cooking very differently. But they got a pretty bad review from Pete Wells, and like we got this raving review. And at the time we had 12 seats in the restaurant, and the next day we had 500 people on the waiting list. And it was intense. And from that point on, like we had a waiting list for like months and months and months. In terms of like goals and like my dreams, all of this whole world, the New York food world was new to me. I didn't know who Pete Wells was. I didn't know what a James Beard anything was.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to Michelin. Like none of those things were my goals or dreams. They just came along the way. And I think like perhaps that has a lot to do with like the positions I ended up in. Like I didn't work towards any of those things. It just happened. Like
Yeah.
my only goal was just to cook good food and like just educate people on veganism and like tear down a lot of the stereotypes through myself, just by leading by example. So everything else that came was just extra. I was like,
That's
oh,
so
okay.
funny. When I hear you telling this story just now, it made me think of The Bear. Had you watched The
Yeah.
Bear?
Yeah, I need to finish this last season, but I've seen a couple seasons. Yeah,
But you know Sydney, right?
I love her. Yeah,
Lo-
mhm.
like, love her. Like, okay, so anyway, I don't know if I'm ruining it for you, but
No, you're
like
fine.
Sydney, she like goes into The Bear like just wanting to cook, like just wanting to cook for people, and then they get all this recognition. There's like critics that come in and they're getting like all of these acclaims, and then she realizes she's like, wait, I kind of want to do my own thing, and she like
Mm,
wrestles with. And so when I was listening to your story, I was like, she's Sydney. So So anyway, you have to go back and finish it. And I think the new
yes.
season's coming out in a few weeks. But anyway, um, was it scary to leave? Like to walk away?
Um, I when I did leave, I think it was the right time. There, I don't want to say I hit a ceiling. I don't think I hit a ceiling. It was just like me and the company, we just had like a different vision in terms of like the future of,
Mm-hmm.
because I had two restaurants. I was overseeing two restaurants at that point, like one in LA and then one in New York. And I just think that we had just like very different visions from like where things would be going next. And that's okay. Like, I mean, we left on good terms. So I was just like, okay. I wouldn't say scary. It was just more so like, all right, fresh start. Here we go again. I've done that a
Yeah.
couple times, so
Yeah.
it was fine.
You said that you worked for two huge restaurants with a lot of notoriety. And earlier you mentioned that you had like celebrities that would come into the place and like
Mm-hmm.
just like in food critics and all the things. Like, what kind
Yeah,
of doors did this open for you so that you could like, when you decided to leave and start your own thing, like you pretty much had a network already built?
I did. That was and I'm so glad that I did. Just like oh, how long was I with them? I think total I was with the restaurant group like 4 or 5 years. Over that time, like I probably cranked out like over 300 or 400 like different articles, like media placements, PR things, all of that. I made sure to like actually build relationships with those people that I worked with throughout that time, like whether it's a journalist or like a photographer or like a food critic or whatever you may have it, like I made sure to nurture and like maintain those relationships so that, when I do go on to the next project and the next things, like I have that support. In terms of like the doors that open, yeah, we had a lot of celebrities coming up and through there, like a lot. And I've had opportunities to cook for them or like do projects with them. Like I've done JB Smooth from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like he had like a separate show and I did the food for that where like he'd have all of his friends come. It was kind of podcast style, but and he wanted me to be the featured chef for 2 seasons.
That's crazy.
Or just all types of things. Like it really did bring out like a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
So, how did they know if you're the chef and you're behind the scenes when these celebrities and people would come in? Were they like, can I speak to the chef? Like, how did people know you were the one behind the scenes? If they had never, maybe they saw your articles or stuff, but like, how did people
hmm
find out about you?
I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly.
It was that good. The food was that good.
Yeah. I do ask people that sometimes. I'm like, how did you find me? Like, what's your source? Some people, so okay, for the New York restaurant Cadence, we outgrew the original space, which was the chef's counter. The chef's counter, I I see you, you see me, like we see each other when you walk
Okay.
in, when you eat throughout your service, like we could talk. So I had a lot of people come to that original space. Um and I would have like a lot of celebrities and stuff follow me on Instagram. They'd send me DMs like, yo, I'm pulling up, like I'm coming through. People like Ava DuVernay, like she sent me a DM one day. She was like, "Hey sis, I don't know you yet, but I'm coming to the restaurant. I'd love to buy it out, shut it down for my team." I'm like, "Girl."
Oh my God. That's a
Someone like
dream.
Dwayne Wade, Solange, all types of people.
That's crazy.
And then when we relocated across the street to the new space, we'd always look at the reservation, so I would know if someone used their real name when people were coming in, and like, I'd make sure to like come out and say hi, or my team would tell me, "Oh, this person's here," or like something of that nature. And then sometimes, yeah, people would just straight up ask, like, "Where's Shennari?"
I love that. For like aspiring chefs that want to be in your position, who may not be as bold as you are and have the network, and like, how can they put themselves in these rooms? And like, because I can talk to a wall, so like when people say that they're like, when people are like, oh, how do I like put myself out there, I don't really know what to say because I'm not afraid to talk to people. But like, for
Yeah,
somebody
same.
who's like more like behind the scenes, like, how can they get themselves into these rooms?
Hmm. Um, have a good PR team, honestly. Like, like if you need help, like, or nurturing, I mean, navigating like that world in those spaces, I'd say like definitely have like a great publicist. Like that'll definitely kind of like open up a lot of doors and cut down on some of the work that you would have to do.
Yeah.
But you also have to like believe in yourself and your work, even if no one else does and everyone thinks you're crazy. Like you have to ride for yourself at the end of the day. Like I only in these positions because I believe myself and I don't care what nobody else says. So I'm still gonna work, not the hair. I still move forward, even when people don't understand. And then lastly, I would just say relationships, relationships, relationships. Like talk to everybody. You just never know. Like I I'm not like I've never been like an opportunist or anything like that, but I do just take advantage of being in rooms with strangers. They don't have to be in the food industry. They don't have to be like, aspiring chefs or I can have a conversation with anybody, and by the end of it, we're going to bond and connect on something. And the beautiful thing about food is that everyone can relate to it. Like, everyone needs to eat every single day. So being a chef and being someone in the industry, like, there's always opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, um, yeah, like oftentimes I'm in rooms like where people don't know me, and that's great. But like as soon as I'm like, oh, I'm a chef, their eyes light up. They start formulating the ideas. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like how can I like collab with this person, or like how can I like it's them, you know? So I think definitely like putting yourself out there, telling people what you do, and then it'll kind of start flowing, really. But you
Yeah.
gotta show up and put yourself out there and talk to strangers.
When we return, Shennari shares her new venture, the business of her.
I want to hop into our last part, which is now like the business of you. Like you're
Cool.
not working with under somebody else. You're like really working for yourself. The first
Yeah,
question I guess I have is like, did you always see yourself as becoming an entrepreneur?
I would say so. Yeah, I again like I don't think my personality like warrants me really working for other people that long. I don't really like listening to people. And I'm a great leader. I do lead well. Like I'm great at like formulating teams and putting the right people and personalities into a room and creating something. And I always need creative freedom. So if I feel like I'm in a job or a position where it's like I'm limited or I'm stuck, it's not going to work for me, and I'm going to pivot. So I think working for myself now at this point in my career is probably like the best thing for me.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
So today you're no longer relying on one employer and you've created multiple streams of income for
hmm
yourself. Like, walk us through what your business looks like today.
So my day to day, I'm a private chef for a family. Typically, when we're both not traveling, I'm working Monday through Friday with this family, and we've like it's so crazy. Like it was supposed to be 3 months, but now we're almost into a year, and it's probably my favorite job I've ever had. Just the flexibility, the relationship, the opportunities as well. So I really enjoy doing that. And she gives me the creative freedom and flexibility to still do other things. So there's certain annual events and festivals that I still do in New York or LA, DC, all over the country. So if I'm booked to do something, I will quickly fly out, do my event, and then come back. And then I do a lot of catering. A lot of it is private. Occasionally things are public. And what else am I doing? I do a lot of consulting, helping friends, other entrepreneurs, other business owners, other people in the industry. I always consult. I'm always connecting people, putting people in the right rooms, or, excuse me, just taking meetings all the time, trying to assist people with that. And yeah, and then I do pop ups occasionally. Not that often, but occasionally.
What income stream would you say surprises you the most? Like, that does the most revenue, which is surprising.
Definitely. Ooh, sorry, my headphones coming out.
Okay.
Definitely. It's not even a surprise, but just when I work with like corporate clients, and like corporate brands, that definitely brings like the most income. I think sometimes I'm like surprised at like the numbers that I land on, but I feel like everyone understands like going corporate or having like corporate clients is definitely going to give you a few more commas on your paycheck.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I want to know too, like, from going from working in a restaurant where I
hmm
assumed you might have had like benefits,
hmm
to going to a full time entrepreneur. um, what does that look like? How do you still get your benefits or pour into a retirement plan, or
Hmm.
just for people that are maybe working in a restaurant now and they have benefits, and the only reason that they're not taking the leap of faith is because of insurance. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do, or what have you found has been helpful?
Yeah, that was definitely a space that I was in at some point, like not wanting to leave and not wanting to like not have my benefits and th things like that. I think it's gonna vary for every single person, and also it kind of like depends on your age. Like I'm in my 30s, so I think it's just like really important for me to kind of just grow up and be an adult and not have to like always depend on other people. Like
Mm-hmm.
my outlook on it is that I don't want to be in a job or a position that I really don't want to be in, but I have to depend on it because of like XYZ, because of, I don't know, like security or like you said, benefits or like convenience. So I like debunked that mindset like a very long time ago. Like I'd rather be freaking like poor and happy versus like rich and bothered, you know? So I more so do it for my mental health. But in terms of like how I navigate things, like I have to be very strategic with my money and my contracts because I do pay for things like out of pocket now. And, my it comes with like a lifestyle change, when you go from working a salary job where like you getting a paycheck every week to um, entrepreneur and being a contract where you can go weeks or months
Yeah.
without pay and you have to like really be on top of like how you're budgeting your money and things like that. So I always put the priorities and necessities first and it's like it's okay if you don't take that vacation this month, girl, or this summer. Like
Ugh,
it'll come. Yeah.
the discipline. Like,
Literally.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what
I
I'm
learned that
working on.
from a vegan diet. Like you do learn how to be disciplined when you go vegan.
You're inspiring me. Okay, after this, I'm going to ask you all of the things. Because no, I. No, okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so my last question for you is, if somebody listening to this episode today is chasing a version of success that no longer fits them, what would
Mm.
you tell them?
Mm. If someone is chasing a version of success that no longer fits them, what would I tell them? Hmm, create a new one. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what I would say. Like you're I a couple of things. Like one, we all have choices, so never feel like you don't have a choice and like you're always as long as you're breathing and alive, like you can always pivot, right? Like I can only speak from my own experience and like kind of like let that be some type of guidance or light for someone, but
Yeah.
you can always change your mind, you can always pivot and you always have choices. So, never feel like you're stuck or glued or tied down to one thing. And usually people have issues just like getting over that hump of when that hump could represent a lot of different things. It could be, a difficult conversation or like an uncomfortable one. But once you're on the other side of it, like that's where the magic happens. So I definitely want to just tell people like just get over that hump and like trust me, it'll be okay. And if it's okay if everyone doesn't come with you. Like maybe they were only meant to be on the left side and now you're on the right side of the hump. So don't be afraid, just go on over there and see where the blessings are at.
Yeah. And I, too, this wasn't on my sheet, but I would love to know, too, like,
Hmm.
especially when you're breaking off and doing your own thing, there's so much noise. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's so many people that have opinions, there's so many people telling you not to do things. Like, how do you silence that noise?
Um, I just like take breaks or like I'll just disappear. Like with my transition like out of restaurants, I ended up going to Ghana for 6 months, so there was no noise. Zero.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time by myself and just like reflecting, because up until that point, I never like really sat down and reflected on like how crazy my career had been. Like, I didn't reflect on anything because my life was moving at a very fast pace. Um, and again, I'm grateful for everything that's happened, but it was a lot, you know? Like, I'd have like 20 events per month. Like, I'm on a plane like every 2 days. Like, my sleep schedule was crazy. I wasn't working out. Like, I'm missing birthdays and weddings and, all of the things. So I had to like really take a couple months and like sit with that and almost like reset. I had to reset a little bit, and that's what I did. There's a lot of options though, but turn your phone off, get off social media, go take a walk.
Period. We just actually need to do them. We know what to do. We just actually need to do it.
Yeah, yeah, you just gotta do it. Like, and that's the crazy part about life. Like, you know what to do, and you know you need to do it. The thing is, no one else can do it for you. Like, literally. So you have to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Coming up, we close out this episode with some rapid fire.
Thank you so much for coming onto this show. Like, this conversation was so cool, and I'm so glad that we were able to like really dive deeper into your story, and you gave such good advice. And that last question that I had was for the listeners, but it was really for me. So thank you for that.
No problem. I love it.
Before I let you go, I want to play rapid fire with you.
Okay, let's do
Not
it.
like we don't already know you, but here's some. I want to get to know you a little better, so let's do it. Um,
Okay.
what's one ingredient that's underrated?
One ingredient that's underrated. I would say mustard, Dijon mustard.
Wow, that like I never use mustard.
I,
Okay,
I keep it around.
I love that. What's one business skill every chef should learn?
Mm, one business skill every chef should learn. How to say no.
What's one luxury that's worth paying for?
Convenience. I will
Period,
always pay
girl.
for convenience. I don't care.
Yes. Yeah. Um, what's what would surprise people about being a private chef?
What would surprise people? Are there any surprises? I mean, we make more money, we have more fun, there's more flexibility. Maybe that we actually can have some type of balance. Like, I think the balance of private chef life. Like, I'm still cooking, I'm still like doing what I love, but I'm also getting back to like a lot of my old ways and habits that were non-existent when I was in restaurants and I just didn't have the time for.
Of that. If someone had 1 year to build a culinary business, where should they spend their time?
In New York.
Why?
The people that you'll meet, um, I, I mean, yeah, I would say the people that you meet, the variety of food and experiences there, like New York can really open your palate like a lot. Queens is like the most diverse city in the world, so you can just spend a little bit of time in Queens eating, understanding like flavors, broadening your palate a little bit, and just like understanding food a little bit more. And then I guess from like the business side of it, just the people you meet along the way, like you get a little bit of everything and everyone in New York, that a lot of other places in the world don't offer. And it's not it's not like segregated. Like everyone's taking a train. Like everyone's going to restaurants. Like, you see celebrities and stuff casually like all the time. So I think just like that access to people is something that you don't really get other places. Um, and then also the support. Like, people say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's pretty true. Like if you have something good, whether it's like a food or fashion, music, and you're in New York and like people love it, like that's going to spread like a wildfire in the best way. But I mean, on the flip side, it could, if it's not good. So make sure it's good. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would say New York.
I love that you mentioned Queens too, because I feel like everyone says Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I feel like Queens
Uh,
doesn't get the love that it deserves.
yeah, yeah. They know. Like, I mean, every borough has like their thing, but like when it comes to food and like um the diversity of it all, definitely Queens. You can get any cuisine from any country. Like,
Wow. I
yeah.
did not know that. Did you live in Queens when you were there?
I didn't, but I would go eat a little bit and like you can eat something different from a different country every day.
I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, that's on my next bucket list. Okay, what a few more. Okay, biggest misconception about vegan food.
Um, that there's no flavor and that it's all like fake food and processed food and there's no nutritional value.
Okay. Most memorable person you've ever cooked for.
Definitely Solange. I love her. She's my Beyonce.
Yes. Oh my God. I love yes. I'm still like daydreaming about her wedding photos that were like almost like
Ah,
20 years ago. Wasn't it
yeah,
beautiful? Oh
yeah.
gosh, yeah, she's the best.
She broke the internet.
Like literally. Okay, and my last one is one thing you wish someone told you before becoming an entrepreneur.
Mm. One thing that I wish that somebody told me before I became an entrepreneur. Um, I mean, I knew it wasn't easy. I think I would say, g- save a little for a rainy day.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Just you really gotta like budget properly, like seriously. Like I said, business can be booming and then it could be slow for a couple months. So like make sure you're like budgeting both your time and like your money.
That's a good note to leave on. Shennari, thank you for coming on a Bright Idea podcast.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
This was fun. Where can people find you?
I'm on the internet just a little bit. Feel free to follow me or hit me up on Instagram. That's like my main thing. I am Shennari Greens on Instagram.
Awesome. Shennari, thank you so much.
Thanks, Amber.
That's it for this week's episode of A Bright Idea Podcast. This week's episode featured two-time James Beard Award nominee Shennari Freeman. If you would like to hear more about Shennari, you can follow her on social media at Shennari Greens. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring on more stories like Shennari's. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at A Bright Idea Podcast for updates. And if there's a topic or a guest you'd like to hear from next, drop us a message. If you would like to support our show directly, you can donate to our Cash App at A Bright Idea Podcast. This episode was edited by Quincy Tucker. Until next time, I'm Amber Key.